I'm at AusPack 2022. All the displays have been set up. It's a big investment. And as a B2B marketer, the question I have in my mind is the investment in trade shows worth it?
Many organisations regularly ask, either because they spend a lot of money on trade shows and have difficulty justifying the cost, or because there are so many other ways to spend money on marketing, not the least of which is the rise of online promotion with the promise of providing detailed data and impressive charts. It's not hard to see where the money is spent. An army is hard at work. Each of these suppliers sends you an invoice. As a marketing agency specialising in industrial products and services, this isn't our first trade show, and neither for our client, robotic automation. Getting value starts before the doors open.
So the robotic automation stand is almost completed as part of AusPack 2022.
I thought I would ask some of the people at this trade show, why are they exhibiting and what do they hope to get out of it?
We've got a 9x9. Think about it when it's around about nearly $400 a square metre. There's $30,000 on the floor space, another $40,000 to set it up, another good $40,000 on the equipment alone, and then there's probably another $10,000-15,000 of people's time. That's up. This type of thing needs to come to the party.
Roughly 70% of what is being displayed is not off the shelf.
For our type of machinery or our type of equipment, you're not going to sell something off the stand specifically. What you're going to do is make a contact with a person that's looking to do something and then work through a potential solution at a later stage when they're ready to move.
So I was just talking to one business owner. My business is living off customers that we met at trade shows 2 to 3 years ago, because that's the length of the sales cycle. Find a new customer, find out their needs, develop a solution, and then it could take another 6 to 12 months before that expenditure is approved. If you expect to make a sale here at this trade show, you're missing the point. The problem with working out are trade shows worth it is attribution, because it takes systems and it takes discipline to make sure that the data is entered correctly and tracked all the way through to the end. And it takes a person. So I can tell you exactly where every single sale came from and what form of marketing produced it.
When you pick up $1 million contract resulting from a trade show, you can do the numbers in your head.
It's just the most natural place to have a sales conversation.
It's been a great opportunity talking to our customers existing in future. I've had a lot of inquiries and definitely it's been worthwhile.
As one CEO said to me, where else can I have 120 meetings in the space of 3 days with people in the industry directly either associated with or right in the target audience that I'm trying to hit? It would take over a year to set up those conversations. And here's the point. Here, you go straight to the face-to-face meeting and you've got your equipment and your displays nearby.
We do get a lot of leads outside of trade shows, but I do think it's a valuable source of not only developing leads for projects, but also developing market presence. I think people would start to question, well, where's Fibre King? Why aren't they here?
Trade shows aren't the only form of marketing and should be used in conjunction with other promotion techniques, particularly inbound marketing. Done properly, all marketing activities should work synergistically.
One of the things I love about trade shows is seeing the technology in action.
What about sales? Do trade shows stack up?
I think so. Sometimes there's something happening politically or environmentally or whatever that might make that show a bit worse than it could have been. The vast majority of the shows I've been to have been happy with.
You can use trade shows to develop content to feed your online presence. It's not a case of choosing trade shows over other forms of promotion. It's about developing a synergistic program.
Locked away in people's heads is information about what's going on in the industry. New projects, new technologies, which distributorships have recently changed hands. This is valuable market intelligence that is not always available on the internet.
I've probably met an equal amount of good clients here as I have suppliers and friends and catching up, and just found out some people have moved to somewhere that I didn't know, and now I know, and that's useful information. It's very, very important in business.
Does that translate into sales though?
Yes, yes it does.
Being a great place to display your technology, trade shows traditionally have been used to launch new products to the market.
We've got a new product we've launched here, which put a lot of attention. Our slab cutters coming to market later in the year.
Just talking to some guys on the stand just then, and they said that they had a visit from a large food and beverage processing company. I had to say to them, look, you guys are already using our equipment. They didn't know. Staff move on. But it's becoming harder and harder to get into these companies to sell your products. Trade shows is one way around that.
Being selective about what trade shows that you're at is part of how you maximise the value of trade shows.
Walk around other shows and see what other people are doing and just sort of try and get a big picture. The best ideas aren't always the most expensive ones.
This is an opportunity to showcase your brand and showcase your products. And part of the art of trade shows is attracting people's interest. A stand where something's actually happening, some movement, is very, very important. The general consensus from talking to people about their activities at trade shows and how to get success out of them is follow-up. One of the big challenges a lot of the exhibitors have pointed out to me is they spend a couple of weeks getting ready for the trade show, they come here, they set up, and that resource has been taken away from other sales activity. So after the trade show, they get back to the office and go, whew, thank God that's over. And it can sometimes be weeks, months before they get around to following up from the trade show. Or sometimes they just don't get around to it. And that's when the question gets asked, what do we get out of that trade show? Not much. Follow-up is very important. But with long sales cycles, there is the chance that the person that you met today here at this trade show is no longer working for that organisation. So you actually have to track three things. You have to track the project opportunity, the people involved in that organisation, and keep track of the organisation itself.
Each salesperson on the stand can install an app that scans visitor passes. It can be downloaded at the end of the show.
And rather than buying lists, which generally is fairly ineffective, the best list that you can get is the list that you create yourself. And at trade shows, it's a great opportunity to find a lot of people to put onto that list. There are mixed opinions. That's because there's mixed results. Most people I've spoken to here believe that trade shows are definitely worth the expense, definitely worth the effort. You have to be realistic about how long it takes to achieve results. They're not a cure for other deficiencies in the marketing mix. You have to have the right products at the right price, the distribution. Trade shows are just one part of the promotions mix. And there are good shows and there are bad shows. So you need to be selective about which shows that you go to. What you do at the show, how you exploit the real estate that you buy at a trade show is a critical factor. Don't scrimp. Make sure that you have a good stand that's well designed, that showcases your products and services effectively. And there are other benefits from trade shows in terms of market research, finding out what other industry players are up to. Walking around here, you can see new technologies, and even if they aren't in the same space that you play in, can give you clues as to what customers are looking for and how it's going to affect your products, your services in the future. So my conclusion is that trade shows are definitely worthwhile, provided that you do them correctly. And apart from which, they're great fun. And I think sometimes sales teams need a fun event on their calendar, and sales teams sell better when they're having fun. And that's one of the other benefits of trade shows.